What's up, friends and foes? Welcome back to Let's Get Nerdy. My name is Corey.
I'm Wyatt, and we're doing another episode of GO-GO-GODZILLA, where we go through every movie in the Godzilla franchise to decide which one of them really is king of them all. And today we're going to cover Godzilla versus Gigan.
Boom.
Boom!
There we go. I like that.
Yeah.
That is correct. Going all the way back to, I believe, 1972 with this one. And the return. What?
I think it's 71.
71? Going all the way back to 1971 with this one. The return of Jun Fukuda, the same director who took over for, I believe, Son of Godzilla and Ibra, the Horror of the Deep. I think one other. I forget about that. I'm sure I'll have that somewhere on the screen. And as always, we're going to get started with initial thoughts and history, which I think the history will be pretty quick for this one.
Yeah.
Wyatt, what is your history?
Nothing. Nada. I had never seen this before.
Almost the same. Mine is I watched it earlier this year after -1 came out. I was just watching a bunch of different Godzilla movies. And if you don't know, Pluto TV has a wonderful Godzilla channel where they just play YouTube Godzilla videos, like videos.
Godzilla videos.
Godzilla movies 24/7. And I watched this one, started it, took a nap during it, woke up for the final fight, had a great time.
Wow.
Which leads to my initial thoughts about this. I, for some reason, fucking love this one. I don't know what is it like. It definitely, I think, commits some of the sins that I have disliked in previous ones. But there's something ridiculous about this one, and just utterly bonkers that I just love this one. I think the storyline is ridiculous in the best way possible. The fucking villains, the aliens, are some of the best we've gotten for one scene in particular. And the monster fight is actually fucking awesome.
It's great.
It takes about 45 minutes for there to be any actual monster action, but once it gets started, it does not stop. And you get the return of Godzilla's theme song, and like the good one from Mothra. Like, I feel like we haven't actually gotten that one in forever. I don't remember like the last movie we've gotten that, the actual theme song full bore going on, and I love this one. What do you think about it?
I mean, honestly, pretty similar thoughts. It's you said bonkers. I think bonkers is probably the best way to describe this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking weird and it's wild, and I really liked it. I liked it. I was excited to watch it, and I think it lived up to my excitement. I did find myself going like, "What the fuck is happening?" several times during this movie.
Yeah.
But I really like it. I think it's a great time. So
yeah. And with that quickly out of the way there, we're going to get into our more detailed thoughts, more plot heavy. So to start off, a majority of this plot follows I forget the name of the guy, a comic book or a manga artist who is just trying to get some work going. Which the movie starts off with like a montage of different like comic book and manga reactions to things. And it turns out he's a really good artist, but he has crap ideas because he's trying to pitch to a comic book creator or manga creator that, hey, I want to make a homework monster.
homework.
The kids defeat, and rightfully so. The boss of this comic book company goes, "This sucks. Leave."
Like laughs him out.
Yeah.
There was the homework monster, and then there was the other one, the
nagging mom monster. I think it was, or something like that.
I don't remember the exact name of it, but it was that essentially. Yeah, that was. Yep, he didn't have any good ideas.
Yeah.
Good art.
Good art. Very good art. But
good art. That's about all I got for that. He
Yeah,
did not have good ideas.
Todd McFarlane, he's not, because he had no actual ideas either. So, and this leads to him getting a business meeting with, I forget the name of the guy. I'm going to forget the name of everybody, I guess. But there's a gentleman who's trying to start a amusement park based off of the monsters.
Yeah.
And which is like, okay. Like, that's like having an amusement park like based off of like hurricanes and tornadoes and stuff like that, which I guess I guess local parks do have like the cyclone and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's true.
That's a bad example. Yeah. Anyways, this guy turns out to be an alien. Spoiler.
Who'd have thunk
Loves,
it?
yeah. First sign is he loves these ideas because he's trying to get more monster ideas for the amusement park. They have a huge Godzilla tower that's going to be
Yeah.
the centerpiece for it, but they need other monster ideas, and I guess they can't use the other ones on Monster Island, like Anguirus and Mothra and all that, because they seem too aggressive, according to this gentleman.
Yeah, I think because their whole aim and goal is to teach peace, and somehow, some way, they're going to teach peace,
Through Godzilla.
absolute peace
Through
through
Godzilla.
Godzilla. That is the most foolproof plan I have ever heard.
Absolutely.
Immaculate.
And so, again, to wrap up the human plot for the most part, because there is some human stuff that happens during the Godzilla fight that we probably will want to talk about. But eventually, I think this is when you get they end up becoming hostages and prisoners with her brother and Rena, and then somehow they end up sneaking out of it. Is this when they zip line, or is the zip line another part of the movie? I think the zip lining comes later.
I think it comes later, and honestly, I have a hard time remembering at what point they were in doing certain things because there's so many times that they show up at this tower and just snoop their way through it, which is I wanted to make a point about this.
Uh-huh.
These aliens have the worst security ever because they don't lock any doors. Their tower is completely unguarded, and they just like these people just waltz all over their tower several times.
Yeah.
Several times, and then bust out of it in a pretty easy, a creative way.
Yeah.
I did. I thought that was pretty unique.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. But yeah, they have no security.
No. Well, it seems like there's only two of them too.
It really does.
Seems like they're, and they don't seem like the brains of the operation.
Well, they have like their 2 or 3 goons that show up every now and then and just stand there and angrily point guns.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, it seems like there's maybe at most 6 of them.
Yeah.
Conducting this whole world conquering endeavor.
Yeah, this does not seem like the cockroaches A squad they got.
No, it's not. These might be the guys that got like kicked off of their home world.
They don't even like. Yeah, this is them being like, if we do this and we pull this off, they could love us.
Yeah, they'll have to take us back.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, I guess they can't go back to their home world. Mm-hmm. They're kind of forced to try to take over somewhere else.
Yeah, because it's revealed later that it was destroyed.
Yeah.
So that they're trying to find a suitable planet for their species again.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is, I think, kind of rehashing from Destroy All Monster.
Yeah,
but if you look at it in a weird way, is it rehashing or is it precognitive? Because Destroy All Monsters in the future.
Good point.
Time
travel.
God damn it! Why?
Yes.
This is not a live action Scooby Doo movie. We'll cover that eventually.
This
is a Godzilla movie.
Yes.
And we did get a pretty meaty Godzilla fight.
We did.
What did you think about the action? Like, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you?
Oh, okay. There's 2 things that popped in my head as you asked me what the first thing was. One, it's kind of surprisingly brutal in a way. Not in like Rise Again when Anguirus got absolutely mauled, but
when Gigan gets his fucking buzzsaw going.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Wow, there's a lot of blood.
There's a lot of blood. There's a lot of blood with the buzzsaw, but also like when Gigan's just like beating Godzilla and like his head starts bleeding and shit, and Godzilla's just like getting his ass whooped. Yeah, that was pretty intense.
Yeah.
The second thing, my second note, is that I'm going to replace. Cats are insane.
Okay.
I'm going to replace. Rodan is not the biggest of the bitches anymore. I'm going to give that to Anguirus.
So, I don't disagree with you because I gotta say this: the Anguirus noise in this movie makes me so fucking mad because they will like, and this is going back to when I first watched it, and I was taking a nap. I was woken up for that final fight because, goddamn, it's like they have an Anguirus button. They're just going,
yeah,
because he's just constantly going, ah! Over and over, and it is the most like, dude, make anybody else say something right now, and I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Um, which that's my biggest complaint about this movie is Anger's noise. He's got my least favorite roar. I'm so glad he's not in the Legendary series
Yet
yet, and I'm sure I'll be excited when he's there. I
he'll
don't.
he'll probably be cooler.
Yeah, it's just
Hopefully,
I hate this roar. It makes me so mad.
I'm
Mainly because it woke me up from a nap one time.
I'm actually kind of nostalgic for it because like I remember playing that Destroy All Monsters Melee game, and his roar I associate with that game, and I don't know, so I'm kind of nostalgic for his roar,
And
but
I
it's
get
so
that.
overdone.
I get that, and it's good in the game.
Right.
But like this, there's something about the way, yeah, the way it's
Oh
just the
yeah.
amount of it's like,
Well,
oh
like I
my
mean, like you said, it's like there's a soundboard, and this I think falls with a lot of the monsters. Is like they just for
yeah.
it's obnoxious
Yeah.
sometimes, and it has been in previous movies as well. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but to go back to the
Yeah.
beginning of this fight, because we haven't established, if you don't know, the four monsters featured in this is Anguirus and Godzilla. Those are they're the buddies, the protagonists,
Yeah.
and then because this is firmly when Godzilla's still a good guy, and then it's Gigan and Ghidorah
Hmm.
making his return.
Yeah. Again.
And you, if you're a nerd, um, might be wondering, hey, didn't Ghidorah get killed in the last one? You fool. That was Destroy All Monsters was based in 1999. So this gives him a good 40 years to traipse around and keep getting his ass beat.
Yeah.
Or 30. I don't know. I don't fucking know. And I did steal that joke from, if anybody sees Cinemassacre or Angry Video. I stole that joke, but I still think it's funny. But no, I do love this fight because it gets so ridiculous. A lot of it is reused footage,
Yeah.
especially from the fight with the Destroy All Monsters. Like you
Hmm.
get almost the exact same shot of Godzilla stomping on Ghidorah's neck
Hmm.
later, kind of
Yeah.
towards the end of it. You then also get the reused footage of Godzilla hitting the Muhammad Ali shuffle,
Yeah.
which I'm a big fan of that
It's
anytime.
so
That's
good.
one of my favorite Godzilla moments ever. So I
Yeah.
got no, and this was actually the first time I remember seeing it.
Oh,
When I
really?
watched the movie earlier because I didn't remember any of Destroy All Monsters.
Yeah.
So when I saw it in this one, I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome. They included. So I didn't know it was but is yeah, particularly, and I guess the reuse footage is mostly the stuff that they got from King Ghidorah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then the introduction of Gigan, who is one of the more like I guess iconic monsters, or
Hmm.
very underused because I think he's in one of two movies.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think so.
I think he might be in the next one, but I guess Wyatt, what did
Well, I
he?
guess three. Anyway, yeah, sorry. Three
Well,
movies.
yeah, so I mean, he's in the next one and he's in Final Wars,
Yeah,
so he's
yeah.
in three movies in total. And I loved all the action involved with him because, like you mentioned, he starts like hacking away at Godzilla with the hooks, and Godzilla starts bleeding from there. And pretty much, for the most part, Godzilla and Angus are getting fucked up in
Oh
this
yeah,
one.
yeah, definitely. But I guess before they did show up to fight there, like Gigan and Ghidorah had a pretty
Pretty meaty
lengthy
rampage.
rampage, which
It,
was cool.
it was a yeah, it was really cool to see that like it just evil monsters
Hmm.
fucking wrecking house. That was a really cool moment to see,
Yeah,
and how long they stuck with it. Um, and then you get this first initial fight of Godzilla and Angus coming, and that's when you get the bombastic OG like Godzilla theme, like hitting the
yeah,
like da 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 as they're just wailing at each other.
yeah.
I thought,
And oh, sorry, go ahead,
no,
go ahead.
you,
I was just gonna say I like Gigan a lot, and I have liked Gigan a lot. For since playing that game, so on and so forth. But he just looks like the weirdest pissed off space chicken I've ever
yeah,
seen.
yeah, probably. I would say for how cool they use some of his weapons, probably the worst looking of Godzilla's foes. I would argue.
It's yeah, on one hand, but also it's so weird that like I'm here for it,
That's fair.
you
That's
know?
fair. I feel like this is one of those movies in every aspect that you just got to be on for the ride, or you're not going to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, that's very true. Because it's just fucking bizarre, and Gigan looks as bizarre as the movie is,
Yeah,
I think, but it's so great. Just enjoy it.
yeah.
It's great. But yeah, The fight is pretty good. It is. I don't. I should have looked at how long it was in total because it's a pretty
It's
lengthy
like 20
segment.
minutes. It's 20 minutes at least. Because
Yeah,
I checked and I was like, oh shit, I still got 20 minutes of this movie left.
yeah, yeah. And there was a little bit of back and forth, but I think a large portion of it, at least of the middle section, like Godzilla is getting his ass beat.
Yeah.
And I say Godzilla because Anguirus is not doing anything.
Yeah, Angus says, oh,
He kind of fought
he,
Ghidorah a little bit, but then
and
like,
he has kind of one of the coolest moments fighting Ghidorah.
oh
Where he
yeah,
fucking Godzilla gets him in a bear hug, and I don't think this was in Destroy All Monsters. I think this was new footage,
yeah, yeah.
where Godzilla has him in a bear hug, and like like motions at Angus to get behind him, like fucking Godzilla's directing traffic here, and it's fucking awesome because he like Angus gets behind him and launches backwards into the back of
Yeah,
Ghidorah, and not doesn't do it just once or twice. He does it 3 times
at
like
least, yeah.
completely and that's how they end up I think taking because this leads into the reused footage of Destroy All Monsters where Godzilla's just stomping the shit out of Ghidorah's head and just fucking him up.
Yeah,
I think this is where Gigan comes back in with the buzzsaw and starts kind of cleaning house a little bit.
yeah, yeah. It is a pretty back and forth fight here at the beginning, and then yeah, like at the end. But
And then somewhere in this fight, it leads back. So most of this fight is taken into I forget it's a bay somewhere. Um, like it takes place in a city and eventually gets moved to Godzilla somehow ends up before everybody else at the amusement park where
oh
he
yeah,
sees the Tower Godzilla
yeah.
and destroys the fuck out of it.
After he gets his ass beat by it,
Oh yeah, because it's like shooting fucking late. I forget.
yeah.
Why did I forget about that?
I don't know.
That's crazy. Yeah, he gets he gets shot and eventually fights back from this still tower because he's got like it like simulates his fire
Yeah,
breath.
yeah.
And eventually Godzilla, after almost losing a fight to a building,
A stationary,
it's the first time.
non-pivoting.
To be fair, it's the first time a building has ever fought back against Godzilla.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
He then eventually does destroy it, causing the best fucking scene in the movie.
Wasn't it because it didn't fucking guy or not Gigan, Ghidorah like use all three of his heads and like launch Godzilla into the tower?
Yeah,
It's so weird.
it's such a bizarre fight, and so like he launches, and so it ends up crushing the tower, and
That like kickstarts him, and then he's like, "Oh, okay, I gotta fucking
yeah.
fight now."
Well, yeah, but in the
But
tower, what's happening?
uh,
The two aliens are
is that?
dying, and they revert to cockroach form,
Oh
and they have.
yeah,
We see a conversation of two cockroaches
yeah.
just moving their fucking
That's right.
antenna, going, "Is this it? Is it? Is this all we have
Then he's
left?
like,
What is this
"What
all
happened?
for?" Yeah,
What happened?" Just,
yeah.
yeah.
And then boom,
I
they
guess
finish.
we should talk about the people blowing the tower out too, or blowing part of the tower out because they
Man,
disabled the laser. We're all over the
I
fucking
watched this
place.
movie 2 days ago, and I feel like I forgot so much because yeah. So that's what happens to the actual because like so that's what because they blow it up and that's what
Uh-huh.
saves Godzilla.
Yeah,
And then them blowing it up is knocks the stuff over onto the cockroach people,
yeah.
and then we see the cockroaches almost like professing their love for each other and being like, "Goodbye, brother," And it's just it is one of those moments that you're sitting there watching these
Uh huh.
two cockroaches talk, and you're like, "What the fuck am I doing?"
That was one of my other like, what the fuck is happening
That was one of the
portions.
moments. That was the moment in the movie. I'm like, I fucking love this movie.
And it's like when they send the TNT or whatever the fuck it is
Yeah.
up the elevator, but then like the hippie guy like plasters a
A
giant,
video of a photo of all of them. Like
yeah, like a mega drawing of them, or was it a photo or a drawing?
it was a photo. No, it was a drawing. It was a drawing of all of them, like
Yeah,
being like, "Peace out,"
yeah.
and that's how they beat the aliens. Which that was pretty cool.
It was like, yeah, it was cool. That was,
Yeah, it was
it was
awesome.
pretty
It was
cool.
awesome. It was like that. If that happened in the Die Hard, people would be like, "What the fuck? That's
Yeah.
awesome." And then yeah, we get the rest of the fight from there. We get a shot of Godzilla getting lightning bolts to his nuts,
Oh yeah,
which was
yeah.
hilarious. And I think that's it. He gets hit in the nuts, and then hits the. That's when he hits the ollie shuffle.
Yeah.
Which I think the hit in the nuts thing is also a
I think it was reused.
reused footage
Yeah.
of destroy all monsters.
Yeah.
But I actually thought the reused footage was reused really well and repurposed,
Yeah.
and they still had new footage mixed in.
Yeah. It was like minimal, but it supported everything else. It wasn't like in the previous movie where it was like 90% reused footage.
I would say
So
90% of Angerus's fights were I think are reused.
yes.
Because you even get the same shot of him hanging on to Ghidorah and then dropping in Ghidorah, like, and that's pretty much the same shot, uncut, no, nothing else different.
Yeah.
And then like I kind of feel like we've talked about everything there. Like, is there anything else in the action?
I think like I mean to kind of talk about Gigan some more. There's that portion when Angerus is trying to fight him and then like runs into his buzzsaw.
Yeah, and you get the head. Of him.
Like his just head squirts blood everywhere, and like Gigan hits Godzilla's, I think like his shoulder or his neck or something at one point with the buzzsaw. And this it's not like the Smog monster. There's not like a lot of sustained damage, like visible damage, which you would think with that kind of an injury there would be something.
And that amount of blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's nothing.
No.
So. But I mean,
well, they spent all their effects money on the working buzzsaw. Yeah, and then I don't know why I'm talking and taking a drink. You can keep talking.
I guess to back up real quick before this, I don't know. I love the shot of them like Gigan and Ghidorah like coming to Earth and they're in space and like just fucking hauling ass.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's a cool shot.
Yeah,
in space.
I would have loved to see this movie for the first time, like as a kid, like back then, and not knowing Ghidorah was going to show up.
Yeah.
So you see Godzilla versus Gigan, and you're just like, all right, 1-on-1.
Well, actually, I didn't know Gigan was fucking Gigan. I didn't know Ghidorah was going to show up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you had that feeling?
Yeah,
like,
I was.
Oh, whoa!
Yeah. Yeah, I actually, because I've never seen the Megalon movie either. So I thought when there was two fireballs or whatever, I thought it was going to be Megalon. And then I was like, that looks an awful lot like, oh fuck, that's Ghidorah.
It's Ghidorah.
Yeah. Which was
Switching
really cool.
teams again.
And yeah, also that brings back my joke of like, does he just get hired out by like any fucking alien race ever? Like
so King Ghidorah is the Kevin Durant of Godzilla, because Kevin Durant goes from the Thunder to the motherfucking to the Golden State Warriors, and then goes over to the Nets, and now he's somewhere else now too. So he just goes to whatever team. Like, he goes to whatever team he thinks is going to get him a ring. That's it.
Yeah.
King Ghidorah has no loyalty, same as Kevin Durant. I'll fucking say it. And yeah, that's it. He's the Kevin Durant. So like, any wins he's got is because of somebody else that he's teaming with.
He has to just like, I just have this, I don't know, thought of like Ghidorah going to like a job fair, and he's like, has this fake resume where he has all these accomplishments and he's conquered all of these worlds.
He's like, I swear to God, I've beaten Godzilla.
Yeah, and like all these defeats of Godzilla, and Earth has been conquered several times. Don't question it.
Yeah, don't call my references.
Yeah, don't call my references. Don't go to Earth.
Yeah.
Don't send me to Earth, but hire me, please.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. I guess that kind of little cartoon image goes with my cartoon image of Godzilla in like a wife beater in a trailer park with a cigarette and shit.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, Godzilla definitely has the feeling of Letterkenny when he's like just shows up ready to fight anybody. Absolutely. One other thing I want to give a shout out with the final fight is I feel like throughout the whole movie you keep getting this shot of like this huge miniature building that's like the triangular building. Do you know what I'm talking about? And it's got like big yellow and black like painting all over it.
Nope.
Well, so you get this shot of this building throughout, and it's the building that Gigan eventually gets thrown into, gets like suplexed into.
I remember getting thrown into a building.
Yeah, so that building, if you watch back, they show that building like 4 or 5 different times, and the way they frame it, I'm like in my head. I remember when I was watching it during my nap, I was like, oh, someone's getting thrown into that building. That's gonna be all. It felt like a table in professional wrestling. In professional wrestling, when you're like, Oh man, someone's gonna get thrown through that. That's fucking
Yeah.
awesome. And then lo and behold, that's where I think that's where Gigan gets thrown,
Yeah.
and they end up Godzilla just blasts the shit out of him until they just fucking run away.
Oh, I did note that or notice there was like I think this was like the first time Godzilla was like actively like used his tail.
Yeah, you got the fucking awesome tail whip.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's what I love about this movie. Is and I feel like this just might move over into wrap up thoughts as we're getting into this
Yeah.
because like plot wise this is really all it there's so much about this final fight and there's so much about like as we're talking that you forget happens
Mm-hmm.
and when you remember it happens you're like oh
Yeah.
you're goddamn right this movie is fucking awesome. It is one of my favorite Godzilla movies.
Honestly, yeah, it's so fun.
It is ridiculously entertaining and I think um you know it just it makes it like it's the era of Godzilla where they're like no we're done trying to be good movies we're done trying to have messages. That's for the smog monster, which again I love that movie,
Right.
but like this one is like these are action figures slamming against action figures.
Yeah.
And we're just figuring out how to get that all into one place.
Yeah.
And I think this one it works really well.
It does.
Think it's incredibly entertaining. I don't think anything will stick with you in terms of an actual plot, but I don't know if that's what this movie like. That's not what this movie is supposed to be. I guess
yeah, you're just supposed to have fun with it.
yeah. So is there anything that in terms of wrapping this up and before we get to our final thing here, is there anything else in this movie that maybe we haven't touched on that you would want to give a shout out to?
I don't think so. Not really. I mean, I think we kind of gushed over the fight. Talked about the crazy cockroach aliens and the hippie guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
I think my only shout out, and I already mentioned it a little bit, is that we get the full fucking soundtrack back. I thought the music, the music really came back in a strong way that I think was missing. Even in Destroy All Monsters, I don't think really was like
it wasn't as strong.
Yeah, I think this really came back in a big way, and I really thought that was cool. So with that, we are now to the point of this video. We appreciate your patience, where we go ahead and rank this amongst all the rest. So right now, if you are following us or if you're just joining us, we have covered I think 16 movies in total.
16.
With number 16 sitting at number 16 we have Godzilla Raids Again.
Mm-hmm.
At number 15 we have I believe Godzilla's Revenge. Mm-hmm. At number 14 we have Son of Godzilla. At number 12 13 there's so many fucking numbers. At number 13 I believe this is where we have Invasion. Nope. Oh no, this is Godzilla versus Ghidorah.
Yep.
This is number 13 we have Godzilla versus Ghidorah or the Smog Monster. At number 12 this is where we have Invasion of number 11, right?
No, you were right the first time.
And to restart, at number 16, we have Godzilla Raids Again.
Uh-huh.
At number 15, we have Godzilla's Revenge.
Yes.
At number... turn into RFK Jr. At number 14, we have... Did I already say something about Godzilla?
Nope.
Okay, at number 14, we have Son of Godzilla. At number 13, we have Godzilla versus Ghidorah or the Smog Monster. Yep. At number 12, we have Invasion of the Ashen Monster.
Now we're on track.
At number 11, we have Godzilla versus King Kong. And at number 10, we have Godzilla versus Kong. At number 9, we have Godzilla 2014.
Yep.
At number 8, I believe we have Ibra, the Horror of the Deep.
Yep.
And at number, I can't believe that one's above 2014.
I know.
I think that one's egregious. And at number 7, right?
Yes.
At number 7, I believe we have Ghidorah, the three-headed monster.
Yep.
At number 6, we have Destroy All Monsters.
Yep.
At number 5, we still have Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire.
Yep.
At number 4, we have the original 1954 Godzilla. At number 3, we have Godzilla versus Mothra. At number 2, we have King of the Monsters from 2019. And at number 1 still remains Godzilla -1. Wyatt, do you have a spot picked out for this?
You know, I think I do.
I think I do, and I think mine's going to be pretty controversial.
Oh.
You go first.
Okay. I was going to put mine... Oh, God. Now I'm second-guessing myself. I'm going to put mine at 6.
Above Destroy All Monsters?
Above Destroy All Monsters, yeah.
That's interesting.
Really?
Because I was going to put mine at number 5.
Really?
Above GXK.
Oh, really?
I just feel like a classic one.
Yeah.
You know, GXK, it's easy to get a 5 because it's got the benefit of technology and it's but you know what? Thinking about it more, I think I agree. I think number 6 is a nice cherry spot for it.
I think GXK is just a little bit more. I don't know. I just it's a little bit more personal. I think because it's like what got us to start doing.
Started doing this.
One of the 2 movies that got us to start doing this.
That's fair. So, I get that. So okay,
sentimental.
I think number 6 is fine. I'll go with that. That sits well with me. So with that, we are now at the new ranking where at number 17 sits Godzilla Raids Again. At number 16, we have Godzilla's Revenge. At number 15, we have Son of Godzilla. At number 14, we have Invasion of the Astro Monster. At number 13, why I get to number 13? Is that one?
You just did Invasion?
Yeah. Number 13? Number 13 is Godzilla versus King Kong. At number 12, we now have Godzilla versus Kong from 2021.
Yeah.
At number 11, we now have Godzilla 2014. At number 10, we have Ibra, the Horror of the Deep. Mm-hmm. At number 9, we now have Ghidorah, the Three-Headed Monster.
Why does this feel off?
Oh no! At number 9, we have Ghidorah, Three-Headed Monster. No, what the fuck am I forgetting?
Technical difficulties. We got off somewhere.
Oh, I forgot the Smog Monster. I'll just read it. So now the new list is at number 17 is Godzilla Raids Again. At number 16 is Godzilla's Revenge. That one throws me off a lot. Number 15 we have Son of Godzilla. At number 14 now we have Godzilla versus the Smog Monster or Ghidorah. At number 13 we now have Invasion of the Astro Monster. At number 12, we have Godzilla versus King Kong from 1962. At number 10, we have Godzilla versus Kong from 2021. At number, I just said 10, or did I say 9?
10.
Okay, at number 10, we have Godzilla from 2014. At number 9, we have Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. At number 8, we have King Ghidorah, the Three-Headed Monster. At number 7, we have Destroy All Monsters. And now at number 6, we have Godzilla versus Gigan. Number 5, we still have GXK, the New Empire. At number 4, we still have the original 1954 Godzilla. At number 3, we have Godzilla versus Mothra, the original from like 1962. Number 2, we have Godzilla King of the Monsters from 2019. And at number 1 still remains Godzilla -1. Keep following along as we try to figure out if there's anything that's going to beat it. I still think there's a few contenders. I still think there's a few contenders. We'll figure it out. Until then, please like and subscribe. We've been Let's Get Nerdy. We got to get back to nerding out.
Thanks, guys. I'm surprised the top 5 has stayed so consistent, honestly.
Yeah.